2nd and 2 from the Jag 6. Trubisky play action rolling. And what does he do? Uses his wheels to take it in himself. Bears up 20-10. After Roquan Smith's 2nd interception of the game, Bears looking to extend the lead. 2nd and 7 from the 22. And yes, Jimmy Graham. And you know what? Give the peace sign after that, because they trounced the Jaguars and Trubisky had a game. So I got to ask you guys, this guy was written off earlier in the season. He was written off last year, and now he's doing what he's doing. Brex, what should the Bears do with Mitchell Trubisky?
Well, Ryan, I think they're going to have to franchise him. I really do. But I think the point we need to talk about is how Nagy, the brilliant move by Nagy is what? He took the play calling away from himself. I know Dan's going to talk about that later. All right, let's take away evaluating quarterbacks from Nagy as well. All right, I think they need to do that because he wanted Nick Foles as a starting quarterback, so that's a mistake. So the less Nagy does, the better the team plays. So how about that? Look, I always say this. This dude was taken 2nd overall. All right, ahead of Patrick Mahomes, ahead of Deshaun Watson. And every team in the league says, oh, hell no, I had Patrick Mahomes and Deshaun Watson over him. No, you didn't. You had Mitchell Trubisky. Just thank God you didn't have the 2nd pick, or you'd look like fools too. But I'm just telling you, this kid is an athlete. He's talented. And in all seriousness, Dan has got a great take on why the kid's playing better. But to me, he's had ability. He was 4th in quarterback rating 3 years ago. So I think they have to franchise him.
Dan, franchising Mitchell Trubisky.
I think they have to.
Dan, so why is he playing better?
They've kind of played to his strengths. You know, like, first of all, he's proven worthy of the position, right? He's proven worthy of being the starting quarterback for the Bears. If you go to 2018, when Matt Nagy went there, it was a ton of play action. It was a ton of getting Mitchell Trubisky out of the pocket. Last year, it wasn't that case. Beginning of the year, it wasn't that case. Yesterday, or since the benching, it's been Mitchell Trubisky out on the perimeter, utilizing play action, which is in the pocket, and bootlegs, which is out of the pocket, getting the athlete out in space. We talk about that in football all the time, and we only think about it when it comes to like tailbacks and wide receivers. Well, it has to be for a quarterback who's athletic as well. Get those guys out in space. And the benching did more for the coaching than it did just for the player. This is what I know. This is what I know about Mitchell Trubisky. He's 25-12 with Matt Nagy as the starting quarterback. I think a lot of teams would take that. He's 6-2 this year as the starting quarterback. And so when Matt Nagy realized I can't do both head coach and play caller, I need to just be the head coach. I'll give the play calling duties to Bill Lazor. He became a better head coach. The offense became more in sync, and the quarterback is now playing to his strengths. They've saved their roles for this season, and they've made it a very, very, very worthy question moving forward.
It's like so many have said all season long. They wanted to bring in a quarterback that fit Nagy's system. It was when they started saying, we'll use Trubisky as he is, what he's good at, how we can make him great. We use him that way, and they start succeeding. So, RC, I got to ask you, are the Bears a threat if they get into the playoffs?
I don't know. I mean, you think about it. You played the Lions. You lose because your defense doesn't hold up. You beat the Jaguars. You beat the Texans. And so some of these teams who don't necessarily have great defenses, but you watch them play. You've watched them play through Trubisky. I think one thing that we have learned is that Allen Robinson is a star. Coming into this year, I was a little critical on the Bears because I said that they didn't have a number one. So I've watched it closely. And no matter who plays quarterback for the Chicago Bears, he is the one constant. You watch Mitchell Trubisky play now, it's about his legs and finding Allen Robinson in crucial and critical third down and red zone moments. And he's come up big for this team. And so now you go into the playoffs and you think, if this defense gets hot, like we've seen Roquan Smith do lately, like we've seen Khalil Mack on the back end, if they make some plays with some of those Pro Bowl caliber players and Mitchell Trubisky continues to get in space, I don't really think this is the team you can take lightly in the first round. And so, yes, they can win the game. You are hoping that someone else gets in other than this team.
Okay, and we'll see how that plays out if, in fact, they do get it. You can make it happen right here. Baker takes it himself and fumbles. A critical mistake right there, Dan.
I mean, this is, Ryan, like fourth, you've got the first down. Just secure that football, and you got a chance to win the game.
Here's Baker Mayfield after the game.
There's no excuse. Plain and simple, I failed this team. I put 3 balls on the ground. I have to hold on to the damn ball. I failed this team. We had exactly what we needed to win this game, and I didn't do good enough.
All right, so it's impressive to see him taking charge there as a leader. I do want to ask you, Rex, what is this? And look, we acknowledge the fact that 4 of his top receivers were out. They were on the COVID list. What does this say about Baker Mayfield, this loss at this time?
Well, I think as a player, man, I mean, it's like, you know, when it's tough on everybody else, it's just right for us. That's the approach they needed to take in that game. And unfortunately, they got beat. Mm-hmm. But no receivers, none of that stuff. Forget all of it. We found a way to win. And if Baker, man, protect the football. The thing that drives me crazy, Ryan, is he fumbles on that, you know, on the quarterback sneak. This isn't the first time. He's done it 2 weeks now. 2 out of the last 3 weeks, he's fumbled on a quarterback sneak. Like, yes, Baker has to protect the football. But I will say this. It speaks volumes of where he's come when he handled that press conference. He put it on himself. And when you do that, you take all the pressure off of your teammates for losing to the Jets. You took it all off of them and put it on yourself, and I appreciate that.
Ryan, go ahead.
Well, listen, the thing is, though, Rex, he ain't have all his teammates. And this is not an excuse for Baker Mayfield. I believe he is who he is. He's a guy that when the complementary pieces are there, when the game is called great by Kevin Stefanski, that he could produce. And if he gets hot because he is so streaky, then you're in trouble. Then he really is dangerous. And yesterday I just love the way that Baker Mayfield fought. When you have a guy like Nick Chubb, when you have a Kareem Hunt, 2 Pro Bowl caliber running backs, and you can't produce rushing yards against the New York Jets, you don't deserve to win. But they were in the game because they continued to fight, because they had a quarterback who led and continued to play. And absolutely, he put the ball on the ground 3 times. It's unacceptable, and it's a huge reason why they lost this game. But I feel no differently about Baker Mayfield in a negative way after this outing. I feel better about him. I feel better about him as a player. I feel better about him as a quarterback. But the reality is he should have put it on him. He should have taken the onus of this loss. But looking forward now, this team may not reach a goal that they put themselves in position to reach. And because of the COVID list or because of the fumbles, whatever it is, that will be disappointing.
Dan, there's going to be talk all over Cleveland and elsewhere. He's a franchise guy. He's supposed to take the guys he has on the team and elevate them. I get that the 4 receivers were out, but still, the offensive line was depleted. But still, this is what franchise players do. They elevate. They win these tough games. What do you say to that?
Yeah, if he gets to practice with them, I'd be with you, Rye. Like, here's my thing. So coaches, so everyone knows, coaches start game planning on a Monday, right, for their upcoming weekend game. And they're putting all their plays in. They're devising their base game plan, then their third down game plan, and their red zone game plan, how they want to attack the defense. And they're doing so with all their players because they have no reason to think otherwise. Imagine doing all that planning and then on Friday night going, nope, these guys aren't going to be there. The offensive line is going to be without 2 starters. So then you got to go attack your game plan and go, okay, cross off, cross off, cross off. And it becomes, well, what do these guys that we're going to have to play with, what can we do? What do they know? And so I know everyone wants to kill Baker.